Hi guys, welcome to another episode of In the Studio by Spiritfest SA, hosted by the one and only, yours truly, Piano Princess. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And if you are a newbie, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button to join the family. As you guys can see, we're not at our regular studio. We're out here in Johannesburg North in a restaurant called Ethiopia. We're about to interview one of the biggest vocalists in South Africa who goes by the name of Murumba. But before we get into the interview, let's get through our top 5 songs of the week. At number 5, we have Jazz One by MFR Souls and DJ Vino. At number 4, we have Divine Love by T-Man Express featuring Vino Keys and Sugarman, You Know the Vibes. At number 3, we have Key Wave by Royal Music, EQ and PC. At number 2, we have Mama by Zingu Malo, Skills and Sykes. And the song of the week at number 1 goes to Bafo by Kabza the Small, DJ Maporisa featuring Jellic and T-Man Express. Also, let's give a big shout out to the Scorpion Kings for what they did at Scorpion Kings Live last week. They managed to fill up the stadium Loftus. And also another big shout out to Budu aka SRP and Tycoon for what they did at Deep Kloof at Friends of Goto. Now, without wasting any more time, let's give it up for our person, Murumba. Murumba, welcome to In the Studio. How are you?
Thanks a lot, my sister. I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Okay, so before we get into any of the serious questions, please tell us who was the young Murumba before the world knew you as who you are today.
The young Murumba, he was just a boy. Before I got into music, I was just someone who always loved, anything that has to do with sound, So I used to handle equipment, so I used to play drums, So I was eager to, know how to play everything in a way. I was given the position of drums, but I ended up wanting to play keyboard, guitar, and all that. So by that being said, I found myself, loving to actually create, create music more. I started going to studios. People showed me around how to, get on with creating music. So I started as a producer, Yeah, so back then people used to call me everybody knows me as back home. Yeah, so I was a church goer, yeah, but still I was still involved to music, but not as much because I liked going to church and just practice songs, play drums, the whole creation of making gospel music, sing on Sundays, performing the songs, and then jumpstart to being in the studio and actually creating, real music.
So while you were at church, this is when you discovered that music wasn't just your passion, it was willing.
Yeah, so because at that time, I didn't even know I could sing, I didn't even know I could sing. So I figured out this other day, it was a practice at church. The pastor was there and the whole choir was there, So they're practicing and they say the instrument guys should be quiet, he wants to listen to only the vocalist, So when they sing that, I'm being carried away. I'm like I feel like I could do whatever they're doing, So I'm miming at the back, the drums. I'm miming, I'm busy doing my thing. And the pastor says, yeah, what? Pastor me sign the bass, yeah. So I was like, hey, okay. Should mind you really know in time I can't sing.
Yeah.
But no, fast forward, I think inside me, I was so eager to, sing, because my mom used to sing gospel songs every time, Like Melatanda, she would call us all to come and sing, you know. So in that process, I found myself realizing, hey, actually, I think I'm doing this thing very great, you know. I'm coming up with the vocals very nice. Yeah, you know, even though it's different because I have like, you know, I have a bass sound, so, but I like whatever I'm doing. You know, why not take it to the next level, you know? So that's when I tried my first record, and I was an R&B dude. I fell in love so much with making R&B music. Yeah, that's when, you know, that's when you find out that a real dude can sing, you know, the Chris Brown era, you know, you have to hit the tones very well. So yeah, my first record was a R&B track.
Oh.
And I did it so good that I couldn't even believe myself that I just created this thing, you know? So yeah.
Okay, so your sound is very unique from a lot of these other vocalists.
Yeah.
How would you describe yourself as an artist?
You know what gets me going the most is that I've been told, you know, several times that nobody, you know, and I mean nobody has ever tried to sound like me or, you know, accomplished the particular, what can I say, state of being me, you know, musically. So I think, yeah, vocal-wise, I haven't seen anyone who does it like me, you know, and that gives me the courage, you know, and being what can I say? So what I'm trying to say is, I have this so much confidence in me that I know, even if, because I'm doing it without no pressure, you know. So even if I do it in any form of, you know, the energy, it just comes out the way it is, you know. It's just me. I'm originally like that, you know. I don't have to force or fake something to sound like, you know, the way I'm sounding right now. So yeah, it's just, you know, it's a God-given gift nobody can ever take, and I'm just going on with it. So that's how I know I'm different, you know. I'm unique from other vocalists that are there, you know, because you can even tell, even if you listen to my music, you know, the difference between somebody else's music and this one's music, you know, the vocals, they don't sound the same. So yeah, I have my, you know, crisp, mellow sound, you know, and I don't know also how do I do it, but it's just comes out originally like that. You know, it's not a copy from somewhere. It just gets generated out to the, you know, to the mic or the song, just like that.
So from your church days all the way till today, has there been any challenges that you faced? And if you have, what are those challenges? Especially back then. Obviously, you know, everyone goes through challenges. So I had challenges of trying to, you know, trying to make it into the game. Back then when I was, you know, trying to, when I was still on a come up, you know, we had to face problems such as, you know, not having shelter, sleeping at the petrol stations, you know. You're trying to knock all doors, you know, texting everyone and they don't reply back, you know. Yeah, so also that was the hardest part. And another one is, you know, the hardest part in my career is not having to, you know, put me first, you know. Not having to actually see what I'm capable of, you know, and letting people double cross or, let's say, play the scandals, you know, using me and my talent or whatsoever, you know. So that should be the hardest situation in my life, that I had to actually find my own way, you know, when a lot has been created, you know.
I invested a lot in my career, which put me through regrets still today. But you know, problems are problems. There's always gonna be problems, but I'm pushing through. You know. So yeah. Also, I learned something from those mistakes. So never again. And yeah.
So I think another challenge that many, if not every artist faces are negativity, like negative comments and all that.
Yes.
How do you deal with
those.
that? Yeah.
I mean, like if you try and want to get your head into or trying to take in whatever negative comments you get, you know, from people. You know, people are always gonna have their opinions. People are always gonna feel like, you know, they could do better, you know, or they see you, or they think you can, you know, improve from whatever you're doing right now at that current moment, you know, and just trash talk you, you know. But I used to be that dude who, you know, always likes to get in people's comments, you know, try and see if anything is about me. I'll try to get in and see if people are talking good or bad about me, you know. Obviously they talk good, but there's always going to be those bad, you know. Even if you could find that it's maybe 2 comments and they say the most hurting word that can crash you down as an artist, you know. So now you won't focus on all the good stuff. Now you're going to look the bad stuff because, you know, it touches you in a way. Somebody just says anything, you know. So I've mastered to, you know, ignore all the bad stuff, you know, in my craft. And also it gets along also with, you know, performing. You know, when you're performing a song and, you know, everybody's minding their business, they're not onto you, you know, it's not your fault, you know. It's not your fault. They're not tapped into your style or your music yet, you know. So that shows that you still need to work on yourself more, you know. You need to put on more work, you know, until you get that recognition where, you know, when you perform, you enjoy it, because now you don't want to be, you know, getting a gig and saying, "Ish, am I gonna do it? Are the people gonna look at me? You know, are they gonna vibe to my music?" You know, you must try by all means to crash that spirit. You know, put in the work. Do not mind all the bad stuff. Just keep being you. Keep grinding. Trust me. Go to studio, record, do what you have to do. Take it out there. It's gonna happen no matter what.
Okay, so looking back, what lessons did you learn from the journey?
From this journey, my number one rule: always make sure your surroundings, if they wish you good, the same way as you wish them good, you know. Make sure you have the right people in your circle, and also make sure you have the right people to push your craft. And by that I mean have yourself some a person who's gonna represent you legally, and a manager that's gonna go with you, you know, through thick and thin, you know, when it's bad or when it's okay. Just, you know, find someone who's eager to feed himself through you, you know, and be feeding you as well. And yeah, man, just, you know, just find right people. And also, I'm gonna go back, don't mind bad stuff. Anyone that comes with playing games, you know, when it comes to your craft, and you feel like, you know, they're not doing you good, it's either you sit them down, talk to them. If they're not doing you any good, it's okay to cut people off, you know, for the sake of your well-being. And, you know, don't involve yourself in too much stuff, you know. especially in the industry. Don't get caught up in the moment whereby, now you start seeing the money coming in, you get carried away, everything is just fast, because the industry is fast, I'm going to tell you, So yeah, just try by all means to focus. That's it. Have good people, Don't give attention to bad stuff. Stay focused. That's it.
Okay, so you're a great vocalist and performer, which is very entertaining. But beyond the entertainment, is there a message that your music conveys that you wish your fans knew?
Yeah, man. In the era that we're in right now, I'm up here and everybody's just doing anything, man. Everybody's just doing whatever they feel they can, and which I feel like is something we cannot do anything about but just to keep going, because now you could find meaningless songs, taking the #1 spots and people love it. That time it doesn't even have a meaning, So also that is distraction to what us other artists who, trying to feed the souls and not just to make people dance, but trying to, connect with them, calm them up through whatever they're facing in life, Yeah, just helping out in the right way, not just making you happy and just go dance, get drunk, and that's it, We're trying to build here, Yeah, so I feel like it goes along also with your fan base, if you have a strong one and they're a solid fan base that they cannot ditch you or anything, So whatever you take out, I know they're gonna, try and keep you at the top, try and push you to be always up there because you're making sense into them, you're giving them what they want. Yeah, so I feel like nobody can change that but you yourself, according to yourself and your audience, how do you want them to receive you? Yeah, I feel like that's all I can say. It's you, yourself, and how you want your audience to receive you. Yeah, you just stay with your pack, go far with them, Eventually, they're gonna grow to be, something bigger. And
okay, so let's get into the music. We're in the month of September, which means we're expecting new music from...
Yeah, obvious.
So you're dropping a single on the 10th. Huh? What inspired that single?
So I made the single with Trill. I remember this other day, we were in my house, just chilling. We were not even doing studio at the time, just chilling, having a conversation, and we just scrolling through our phones, and there's that, there's always something trending on TikTok, So we go through our phones. There's this other video, we see this other dude dancing there, and then there's a background voice saying Marake, So we are there saying, man, actually this thing is dope, bro. So, why don't we get in the studio, try and bring up something out of this? Because this thing is moving, and I'm sure people will receive it very well because, it's a thing for now, it's a thing that's going on. Marake, yeah, let's just ride with the wave. Let's go create something. Let's see what we come up with, because we were just chilling. So yeah, we went in the studio. I made the beat. I was retrained my beat, everything just came on real quick, Said she was on the mic singing there, Marake. So yeah, I think, what inspires this song, us having to be those bros that are chilling, just hanging out, having a conversation, scrolling through our phone and just see something as Taza, and then just to prove that we are that creative, we just created something out of that thing. So that's the whole motive behind the song.
So from that single, you're dropping an entire body of work a few days later.
Yebo. Oh, yebo. Yebo.
Okay, what's the story behind the entire album?
The story behind the entire album. So the album, I call it Me to Me. It's coming up on the 12th of September. The story behind this album, you know, I think a lot of people know by now. What I came across, you know, I had to face some certain steps, you know, of my life, or I could say in my career, where I decided I should, you know, see my own ways, you know, make everything myself, and you know, yeah. So I've been through, you know, for my business partner I am, and I think it has been going on for about 2 to 3 years now. And you know, it got to a point where I was like, you know what, nah, man, I can't keep doing this way. I need to find myself, you know, because I feel like I'm boxed in. I need to find myself. I need to grow out more. And at the same time, a lot was just not happening, you know, in the right way. So I said, you know what, screw it. I don't care what everyone's going to say. You know, eventually they're going to understand what's going on someday. But you know what, I need to focus on myself right now. So me being in the process, you know, of cleansing myself, you know, having to deal with forgiving and letting go, you know, of bad energy and bad people or bad stuff. In that process of finding the new me, you know, I had to, because I was at my lowest, you know, everything was not moving, everything had stopped, you know, I was not getting gigs, you know, sometimes people would reach out to you to book you and you say you're alone. So they said, nah, we know Murumba Peach as a duo, you know, we need the two people to come out, you know. And now, you know, it's very difficult having to explain that, no, I'm the vocalist guy, I'm the one who's making things happen or whatsoever, you know. We had to go through all of that with my team. And trust me, it was not a good run, but finally we're here, you know, we made it, and it's coming up very well. So I'll go back again to say, in that process, you know, of finding myself when I was at my lowest, you know, people, a lot of artists know, you know, at your lowest is when you take out the best version of you. Yes, the best version of you. So I was at my lowest, you know. The only thing that could keep me smiling and, you know, going was me being creative. You know, I love making music, you know. I produce myself. I do anything I want, you know. I'm going to get it right the exact way that I want it to come out, you know. So whatever people's going to receive from that album is exactly what, you know, I, myself, was creating, you know. And obviously with the help of other people's hands, you know, other artists who are involved in the album, you know. So yeah, it was just me, you know, growing through all this pain, you know, all this setback, and I was just motivated by pain, you know, trying to break through the pain with my art, you know, being creative. Yeah, actually putting out who is me, you know, what do I do, you know. I want people to, with this album, I wanted people to actually get what I really do and who am I, you know. How do I sound? What's my real sound, you know? Now that people are getting confused, saying, oh, this one is the producer and that one is the vocalist. Oh, now they're never gonna work, even though they go separate ways, you know? I wanna show people that, no, I've always been the producer myself, and I've always been the vocalist alone. So I want that to carry on. I want that to be known in my legacy, that this bro had done everything for himself, you know. He was doing everything for himself, even in the beginning, from the start, you know. So I want people to keep on with that mindset that I actually do everything on my own, and really I do,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, I want them to get a whole piece of me in that album, you know, to say, hey guys, I don't have much to say, but here is me, you know. I give them the album. That's the whole motive behind the project. So that's why I call it me to me. So, you know, it's me facing me now.
Yeah.
It's either I quit and go home and cry, or, you know,
Work harder.
I stand up and talk to myself that I can do this, you know?
Yes.
And then I give it to the people. That's it.
Okay, from the body of work, is there any standout track for you that like has a very personal meaning?
Oh, actually, yes, that's a deep one. I'm not in the song, but I created the song and I made sure that this particular person, you know, is gonna sing this and in this way, just as my life is going right now and the way I want to prosper, you know. So that's gonna be the intro. The intro is featuring Nandawazam Kize. So she is the one singing in the song alone, you know. So it's an intro, no beat, no anything. It's just chords, strings, you know, and that's it. She's singing. So I call the song Hamba Ngamandla. Yeah. So that song touches me very much. It aligns very accurate with the story of my life, because what Nantogas is saying in that song, you know, is what I'm actually facing and where I'm headed right now, you know. Yeah, it's about where I'm coming from and where I'm headed. Yeah, so I call it Hamba Ngamandla. So yeah, they will get to, you know, listen to it when the album comes out, and then you can actually get to feel or hear what I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah, so it's going to be song number 1 in the album, featuring Ndawazam Kize. Title is Hamba Ngamandla.
All right. What was the toughest part of creating the entire project?
The toughest part of creating the entire project, you know, it's always the sleepless nights. You know?
Yeah.
I'm always going to say it's always the sleepless nights, you know, trying to figure out how to get everything to sound like the way you want, you know. Having to overwork your brain out, you know, trying to figure out what's the right sound for this particular jam, what's needed here, what's that, you know. It really is a struggle. And you know, also, you know, collaborating with artists sometimes can be, you know, a bit of a problem, because, you know, you can call an artist now, schedule a session, you know, they're gonna come up with, but I know it's live, I understand, it's live, it happens, you know, people get caught up in, you know, whatever. So it takes patience. It takes patience. It requires a lot of passion. You have to go through having to hear from artists if they're gonna disappoint you today or not, you know. And yeah, some things, they don't always go the way you wish, you know. So I just worked with whatever I could get at that moment. Yeah, so there's a lot of artists that I wish they were in the album, but because of time and, you know, them being busy, you know, the scarcity to find them, you know, that's always the toughest part. You know, it's challenging because now, so you just created a song and you feel like, oh, who can be in the song, you know? It can be a banger, but you end up, you know, doing whatever you can to still make it feel the way you wanted it, you know, with the other artists. So, yeah, man, you know, sleepless nights, having to do with artists not, you know, pitching up or making time, you know, anything. So, and also investing, taking out money. It's not easy, you have to take out money. This thing is investing, you have to lose a lot of money in order to get what you want. You have to hire whatever, hire this and that, so you can get everything the way you want. Yeah, sacrifice of time, that's it.
Okay, so Amapiano is about community and collaboration, and you've hinted that Trill and Nontogozo Mkhize are on the album.
Yes.
So how do you pick these collaborators?
How do I what?
Pick these collaborators.
It's the thing that I just said now, that you create something and you feel like this particular person, fits very perfect in this creative gem that I just made right now. I could be in the studio, just create something, and I sit, listen to it, and it's gonna tell me that, in my mind, I'm gonna be like, so and so could fit very perfect in the song. Let me hit them up. Actually, it's just like Trill. We were planning on having a studio session, but we ended up not having a session, And while we were chilling in my house, like I told you, we just on our phones, and then this thing came up, and then, you know what? Actually, let's go to the studio, just like that. Being creative can come in different ways, So as for Nontogozo Mkhize, Nontogozo is spiritual, so at that particular time, I was feeling like being spiritual, and then I said, no ways, my sister, you are needed. Come to the house real quick. I have something, I cannot continue without you being here. So please, I need you right now. She said, yeah, no problem. I'll pull up. So yeah, that's how I got to pick them. I have a lot of artists in the album. They all have their different ways how I got to actually hit them up on the phone, or had to invite them over. Just because it's all because I was creating in the studio, or I was motivated for something to say, what, bro, what are you doing this day? Let's try and create something. Let's see what comes up, Or, I just made this song. I feel like it needs you, and then can you please pull up? Let's make this happen. That's it. That's how I get to pick, yeah.
Okay, so in a good way, has there ever been any artist or producer that has pushed you outside of your comfort zone?
Yeah, obvious, obvious. I remember I used to be very upset, because they would invite me over, and they play me a bit, and I'm gonna go in the way that I think, okay, this is how I can do it. The producer's gonna come and say, I feel like you slowed down a little bit. I think we need more energy. I think you need to crash that off. Let's get some more energy. Crash the lyrics, sing about something else. I need you stronger. I need you very active. And I'd feel like, what? So what I just did now is not good enough. I used to take it as an offense that, this one, it's making me question myself now. So I'm not doing the right thing. Why did you call me here? No, actually that person is actually building me up to say, you need to adjust. You need to learn how to move with this thing. You can't always be in your comfort zone, what you think you can do. Sometimes it's for people and not yourself. So yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, what role do you think collaboration in Amapiano plays in keeping the genre fresh?
I could say me, myself, being unique from every other vocalist, the way I sound, the way I deliver my message, just the way I make things happen, Yeah, so you can actually tell the difference. Like I said, you listen to me, you listen to someone else, you can easily spot me. You can easily, it's so easy to, refer my vocals to me because I'm the only one. You do not have to say, hey, this one sounds like, this one sounds like, I'm me, I do my own thing. I did not force it out, So yeah, and I'm very glad that, God gave me this gift, in order to be doing it this good and actually be the only one to do it. Yeah.
Okay, so after the project drops, what else can we expect from Murumba Pitch?
After the project drops, yeah, obviously I'm gonna be starting towers, going city to city, town to town, school by school, I'll be trying so hard, to get every follower of mine, updated, not to be left behind. So I'm gonna try, since some other kids are busy at school, so in order for them to pause the work, and focusing on phones and everything, I'll just be taking my time to go to them, making sure that they remember me, they catch up to whatever that I'm moving on currently, since I've started rebranding myself, coming up as a new me, I need to start afresh, It's not gonna be easy, but yeah. And a lot of music is gonna be coming. Sorry. And I'm gonna be performing in whatever scene that you're in, and I'll be posting to make sure that you are posted. You know where I'm coming and when, so yeah. Just good music, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, so last question before your performance, where can your fans connect with you?
My friends can now actually connect with me in Instagram. It's Murumba Pitch. It's Murumba_Pitch _SA, with small letters. It has about, I think, running 60K followers right now because it's new. So the previous one had 400 and something K, but that's not the one I'm using anymore. So I'm using a new page. Started my own. And yeah, it's running. It's on 60K followers right now, but it's the same name, Murumba Pitch SA. And also on Facebook, it's Murumba Pitch Maeywon. Yeah. On TikTok, it's Murumba Pitch. Yeah. On Twitter, it's Murumba Pitch. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I could say, if you want to follow or be updated, you should check, who you're dealing with, because we're having a trouble with someone else trying to keep on with the name and trying to be that guy. So I'd highly advise you check the pages very carefully. You don't want you missing out and saying, oh, but I followed him, but you followed the wrong one. So yeah, sorry about that. We're still, fixing it, but yeah, just make sure you're following the right person. Obviously, if you know my face and you follow me, yeah, Uzobo.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. You guys heard you can find him at Murumba_Pitch_SA.
Yes.
To our viewers, thank you so much for being here once again. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you on the next video.
Thank you. Bye.